That's a point off for our team. We're going to try and do better for you today. And this is the first presentation of the day. Hey, so who was at the beer garden last night? Round of applause for your hangovers. Thank you for getting up anyway. So, usually we open DrupalCon with this tradition of the Prenote. It's Tuesday morning, very early, hard to get up. So I think it's even more of an effort. Thank you so much that you're doing it on day 2 when we've all been out. Maybe a little too long and working a little too hard. But hey, this is Drupal Europe, and it's run by a completely different group of people this time. Not the wonderful Drupal Association, but a wonderful team of volunteers. Thank you so much for organizing that, Buddy, Gabor, and everyone.
We're so happy that Drupal Europe is considered the Prenote important enough part of the Drupal culture to include it in their first European event. And they promised us that we could do whatever we want up here. Imagine that. Carte blanche. Imagine the possibilities. The mind boggles. So here we are in Europe, where the social and cultural mores are so much more flexible than in the US. We can do practically anything on the stage. So we have a great concept for you this year, something we really couldn't do anywhere else. Is it this?
No. Oh, that'll work.
Yes, yeah.
So in particular, there's one thing that we feel comfortable doing in Europe that's gotten really complicated in some other places. We have so many cultures here living right next door. If I get in a car or a train from my house and go an hour, I can be, well, within 2 hours, I can encounter.
You could be at my house.
I could, and I can encounter 4 or 5 different languages and cultures and foods all within a couple hours of my house in Cologne. So we've learned to like each other and tolerate each other and tease each other. People over here are thick-skinned, and we can laugh about the things that we share and laugh about the things that we make that make us different. And we can do this because, like in Drupal, in Europe, diversity is our strength. So we respect and we trust each other enough to laugh. And that's a very European value. And Drupal, right? We're also really, really diverse. And so this is an introduction to this big, extremely multicultural event. We've decided to give you a short tour. Our conference presentation today is introducing you to some of the people in your Drupalverse.
And in true Prenote style, we're going to do it with a little bit of music. There's just a short part you have to learn. So first, everyone stand up. Everyone sings better when they're standing. Yeah, I know. It's early. But you guys might recognize this song from the old days of Sesame Street.
And if you don't recognize this song...
It's really easy and it's really, really, really catchy.
And it's embarrassing because it shows our age at this point.
Yes, that is true.
So...
You have the pitch.
These are the people in your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse. Oh, these are the people in your Drupalverse,
the people that you meet each day. All right, can we try that once more now that you guys kind of heard it? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, these are the people in your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse. Oh, these are the people in your Drupalverse, the people that you meet each day. All right, now the best part about this song, you're not going to get it out of your heads all week. So remain standing for the people in your Drupalverse. That was easy.
Yeah.
In tune. Oh, who are the people in your Drupalverse? In your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse.
Say,
who are the people in your Drupalverse? The people that you meet each day. Designers make the look and feel. They know to use the color wheel. How to balance dark and light to make your website look just right. Oh, designers are the people in your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse, in your Drupalverse.
Hey,
who
the people that you meet each day.
Front-end dev needs many skills.
Please react and wait for thrills.
Our systems are component-based. Too many divs are just a waste.
Oh, the front-end devs are people in your Drupalverse.
In your Drupalverse. In your Drupalverse.
Say,
These are the people in your Drupalverse. The people that you meet each day.
The backender just loves to play, plug modules and use display. And it should come as no surprise, they interface with APIs.
Oh,
Backenders are people in your Drupalverse. In your Drupalverse. In your Drupalverse.
Say, who are
the people in your Drupalverse?
the
People that you meet each day.
The PMs get to make the call. Can Agile or waterfall? They set the deadlines, watch the charts
To track the project's moving parts.
everyone, oh,
These are the people in your Drupalverse.
Louder.
In your Drupalverse. In your Drupalverse. Who are the people in your Drupalverse? They're the people that you meet. We're the people that you meet. You're the people that we meet each day.
So let's meet some of the people in your Drupalverse, starting here in Europe. Our Dutch neighbors have the reputation here for being careful with their money, economical, tight-fisted. So when it came time for my very good friend, Chris Jansen, to choose a software project, it came as no surprise that he chose the free one.
Obviously.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jansen from the Netherlands.
It's okay, I'll be back.
Yeah, you need to be careful with the little ones. So, in the Netherlands we have a saying, doe maar normaal, dat is al gek genoeg. Or just act normal, that's crazy enough. And acting normal is really easy in the Netherlands. I mean, as long as you have the book that actually tells you how to do it. So I'll just give you a quick run through about what we think is not normal, because, well, the things that we consider normal are very limited. You know, one of the things we consider not normal is bragging, or showing off, acting pretentious, discussing money jam. You know, showing a little too much personality, acting out, showing overt public displays of emotion, all kinds of, relatively normal things in other countries. We don't do it. I mean, it's basically just, you need to make sure that you follow the ever-important unwritten rules and regulations of our land. Otherwise, we'll consider you not normal. Weird, different, disobedient, or just foreign. So what to do if you cross that line? Well, what happens? Well, we'll let you know. So every single Dutchman has an internal not normalometer. So as you can see, the region of things normal is very small. And we'll let you know that you're in the safe region by not saying anything. But, once you get into the not normal territory, under our breath, we'll do something like, niet normaal. Give it a try.
Niet normaal.
But it will be soft enough that you can barely hear us in the background. But, once it gets a bit more out of bounds, we'll, put in a bit more effort, and we'll do, niet normaal. You'll definitely hear us, but we won't be shouting at you. So give it a go. Niet normaal.
Normaal.
And then there's the off the charts bit. So you'll probably hear somebody literally shout at you like, doe toch normaal.
Doe toch
Doe toch
normaal.
Normaal.
And if they don't seem to get that you're talking to them, you'll probably say, ja, ik heb het tegen jou, pannenkoek. So, go ahead. Ja, ik heb het tegen jou, pannenkoek.
Pannenkoek.
When somebody tells that to you, you know you're in trouble. So, let's have some examples. It's break time, and instead of asking everyone if they want coffee, Tim just gets coffee for himself and returns to his desk. And I think part of the slides went wrong, but that's all, you know.
Niet normaal.
Niet normaal. Or Monica needs a pen from the reception desk. And instead of walking over and asking for it, she just yells, "Hey Mark, throw me a pen, would you?" Well, that's beyond niet normaal. So that would be niet normaal.
Normaal.
And last but not least, after Dimitri's good sprint summary, Dave then proceeds to demo while skipping over the team and exaggerating his own impact on the results. He'll obviously get called out on it. Doe toch normaal.
Doe toch normaal.
So we can be a little direct. And that might be a little understatement. The reason for that is we despise insincerity and hypocrisy. And we value honesty. And for us, being honest equals being direct. So directness, and therefore honesty and insincerity, well, they are separated by a very thin line, as you might have noticed by the not normal meter. And since insincerity isn't an option because we despise it, we choose directness. So here's a little quiz for you to practice. So your friend shows you their latest website design. This happens, right? But you don't approve. So how do you deliver effective, constructive criticism? This is great. Are you considering one more revision? Or would you say, this is a good start, but perhaps it could be a slightly different shade of blue? Oh my God, my eyes! My eyes, why would you do this? Think of the children. So what would be the regular Dutch response, you think? Obviously C, right? So we also have a diverse cuisine. It's really diverse. I mean, lovely flavors everywhere. We have stampot, andijvie, stampot boerenkool. But we also have hutspot, bietenstampot. I mean, you get the point, right? As long as there's sausage. No, wrong. There's also prijsstampot, which has boiled eggs. No, I'm kidding. We fry stuff too. I mean, we have bitterballen, frikandellen, and depending on who you ask, well, the Dutch will say they're amazing, and everybody else will disagree, right, Jam? But there's also something that's universally considered to be a good thing in the Netherlands. Stroopwafels. These are literally to die for. These are amazing. And yeah, you know, our country being small, and we do need to get around as everybody does, we cycle everywhere. We cycle to work, we cycle to school, weddings, funerals, it doesn't matter, we take our bikes. You know, we average 1.3 bikes per person in the Netherlands. And that, you know, as you can see, that causes some parking issues. And I can know, I mean, I've got 4 bikes and a cargo bike, you know, just so to make sure that I can get around. And obviously, dangerous cyclists get marked bicycles. There's a reason for this, because these dangerous cyclists, they tend to get stuck in tram tracks, and they tend to stop whenever the stoplight goes to dark green, otherwise known as red. We just call them tourists. So, if you want to know more about the Dutch, you can visit this amazing website. And in the spirit of diversity, I will give you a reason to call me out for being niet normaal. Because Drupal is great because of the Dutch.
Todo normaal. Thank you very much, Chris Jansen. Next up, oh, don't forget your cheese, man. Raki Mandanya, who is going to teach us about working with the Indian culture. Welcome, Raki.
Thank you. So everything is okay because we know how to deal with our people, and so should you. I'm going to tell you some of our very special qualities which make Drupal successful. First off, we are super helpful people. And when I say super helpful, I really mean we will help you with anything and everything. So what happens when you ask for direction? Let's say where you need to go and our geographic knowledge don't really touch each other, but we will still help you. What happens when you come with your requirements? Let's say what you need and what we know slightly intersect, but don't worry, because we'll still help you. And in the end, what we give you is probably things that you don't even need. The important thing is we are super helpful people. We are super polite people. Super polite. Politeness is, in a conversation, it's not polite to ask someone to repeat themselves. Well, we do exactly the same when you share your requirements with us. We don't ask you to repeat yourselves, even if we don't understand a word you said. It's good to nod, indicating you're understanding everything, right? And that's what we do when you come with your requirements. Well, we'll give you the solution anyways. After all, we are super polite people. We are always on Indian time, and not Indian Standard Time. You wouldn't find this Indian time on any time zone converter. It's our time, Indian time. And I'll tell you how. So this is what you know by Indian Standard Time. Now consider an Indian wedding. If I have to plan an Indian wedding, and I want my guests to be there at 7:15 p.m., I would actually get the invitation to say 6:15 p.m. or maybe 5:30. And I think that is what everyone should have done with me as well, because I thought the Prenote was at 8 a.m. and I reached at 8:14. Same with deliverables in Indian time. So if I have to deliver something on the 28th, I'll probably tell my developers it has to go on the 18th. And if they find out, I'll say the client just postponed it. Well, we know how to deal with our people, and now so should you. We are very considerate people. We really consider everything, literally everything. For example, we consider our estimates very considerably. So if you have 6 developers and into 3 weeks to get an amazing project delivery, well, on the day of production release, our developers become high-functioning, super genius mega developers. Tony Stark on his best day cannot beat an Indian developer on production release day. So that's what the estimates were for. 3 weeks of work means 3 weeks of work in 1 day and amazing project delivery. Well, we really consider everything. Thus, Indian culture has super helpful people, super polite people. We really want to make your dreams come true, so we consider everything. And we have superhero developers. I think it's safe to say that this model is very successful. And I can prove it to you right here, right now. Are there any speakers in here? Please raise your hand if you're a speaker at Drupal Europe. Yeah? Did you prepare your slides well in advance? Keep your hands up if you did prepare your slides in advance. Let's be honest. Were your slides really done on time? See, most of you are almost on Indian time. And hence, it's safe to say Drupal success is what it is because of the Indian culture.
Thank you, Raki. Thank you. Thank you so much. Am I? Oh, I am on. Thank you so much, Rocky. That's very helpful. I thought it was pretty interesting that no hands were up at the end, right? But super developers and super presenters, I guess, right? An hour before the presentation, 3 weeks of work. So, all the way from Turin, Italy, Paolo Libanore, who is going to explain to us on microphone number 4 a little bit about Italian culture. So, let's see. Oh, I need to explain something to you. Paolo's having trouble because
I need my hands. So we Italians are known worldwide for talking with our hands. So please call us on the webcam so you can understand us. But we Italians are known worldwide for food culture. Don't call at lunchtime. We won't answer. We Italians are known worldwide for wine culture. The Italian words for meetings at 6 p.m. are happy hour, or as we say, aperitivo. We Italians are known worldwide for loving football, even if we are currently having a platonic relationship. But mostly, we Italians are known worldwide for our genius and creativity in art, in life, and in problem solving. So we reach goals through brilliant and unexpected solutions, also in everyday life. And here I will present our kit of creative solutions to survive a difficult work week. Let's start. On Monday, when we need to extend the benefits of the weekend, we act like a sugar packet. We take a deep breath and soak ourselves into the warmest situation we can imagine, a nice cup of coffee. On Tuesday, we start to feel a bit stressed. Our remedy is to pop 3 stress relief bubbles every 2-3 hours or as needed. Repeat if symptoms persist. On Wednesday, do you know Mandela? No, he is not a football player. We do this every Wednesday to find our Santa. Thursday, our minds and our workspaces are open. That can be too much. That's why we ask nature for help in creating some private moments with my plants, something nice, not a carnivore plant. Friday, we believe the shredder is very underrated, especially on Fridays. This is how we use our work documents to start the weekends. So, somebody once said to take life easier. I'm pretty sure he or she was Italian. And so Drupal's success is because of the Italian culture too.
Thank you, Paolo. All right, continuing our tour of Drupal culture, next up, representing Britain, Chandeep Koza. Chandeep, how is Drupal's success due to British culture?
Well, elementary IBM Watson.
These are the jokes, folks.
So, let's be clear. We're not just talking about British culture, we're talking about London, a vibrant city full of history, culture, and music. We British. Some of you may know us for our food culture, and our national dish is obviously fish and chips. But we British are known for our food culture, which is chicken tikka masala. So, some key tips to surviving in the British workplace include dressing like Mr. Bean, because obviously it's very important to look the part. Dressing smart is a very key component, and different organizations have a different dress code, so you don't want to screw that up. Also, being on time, like Big Ben, This is currently covered up, so you won't see it like this if you were to visit. But being on time and being punctual is super duper important. Otherwise, it can get you in a lot of trouble. And if for any reason you're going to be late, in some organizations, they give you these points, and at the end of the week, whoever has the most points has to buy all the beer in the pub. So you don't want to get in trouble. If by any chance you are running really late, you can use the excuse, right? Like the Indian time thing, I could either use that myself, or the British time. But if you are running late, you can always just blame it on the tube or the train, if you really have to. And also us Brits, we love to correct people's grammar and spelling. So, you know, I apologize if I do that to any of you during this event. And tea, of course. So yes, with tea, you know we're all famous for our tea. We drink lots of it in the office. So you finally arrived in the office. You don't want to have tea straight away. You want to pretend to do some work, look important, and then ask your colleagues, would you like a tea? And you go around collecting all of the mugs. Once you have all the mugs, you need to go through that tea ritual, and things must be done in a very precise order with timings. So first you get the milk and the sugar first, right, Rachel? That's how we do it, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So first you put the milk and sugar into the bottom of the empty mug. You must make sure the milk is very, very cold. Then you add the tea bag, of course. Then yeah. On top of that, you add the hot boiling water, and you let the tea diffuse for 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes. Otherwise, you get fired. And essentially, then you go around delivering that tea to everybody, but make sure you don't spill it on yourself or your colleagues or their laptops. It's even difficult for some of us Brits because I accidentally gave a tea mug to a director of a company I was working at, and I was so keen to go back to development, I left the tea bag in it. Needless to say, I no longer work there. Oh, and while you're walking around the office, you need to be aware, are there other people around that corner? If you bump into somebody, even if it's their fault, you must say sorry and excuse me. The final tip is about the pub. If you're invited to the pub on a Friday, don't worry, it's a safe place. You can catch up with what's been happening that week with office politics, and your colleagues feel about everything, because obviously they're saying it's fine all week long. And all of that tension, it all comes out, and those frustrations of if you had to do the tea round multiple times and no one took their turn, you know, you just essentially, you can let loose, don't fear, everything will be forgotten on Monday. So inhale all of that beer and let it out all over the street, perhaps. Yeah. And this is why Drupal's success is because of the British.
Now, when we talk about diversity seriously in our workplaces, in our industries, we don't just mean cultural diversity. There are a lot of other metrics that it's important to measure by and to be inclusive about. So I want to present you a very special culture that I have been part of for a very long time. Adam Duran is here this morning representing the remote culture, and because he is a father holding down multiple jobs, so it's odd to see you in person, but
good to see you too. So hello, my name is Adam Duran. I've been full-time remote for more than a decade, and I'm here to tell you about my culture. The first thing you need to know about remote workers is that we're growing. An increasing number of developers, particularly, that's a hard word to say, in technical roles, characterize their jobs as mostly or full-time remote. That means these cultural lessons, I'm having trouble with the tongue, are going to be increasingly important as time goes on. Now, a common misconception about remote workers is that they are easily distracted. This is just not true. What? Hello.
Good morning. Time for stand-up.
Look, Cam, this is actually not a really good time. I'm trying
Are
to
you in
leave.
your pajamas? This is a meeting, Adam. Why don't I just call back later when you're prepared?
What? No. I'm fine. Besides, you're paying me for my brains, not my outfit.
It's not about that. It's about respect. Besides, this isn't just any stand-up. We're supposed to do the remote Prenote presentation.
They said to dress in a way that represents my culture. What remote worker has ever worn a shirt and tie?
You know what? We'll talk about this later.
Fine. You actually interrupted my part of the presentation.
I did?
No.
I'll just start my presentation then.
No.
I'm sorry.
You go first. No. You go.
It's
fine.
You should
just. No.
No.
I'll go on mute.
Cam, if you hear me, can you just start, Cam? We had you going first.
Okay, I'll start. The most prominent study on remote worker performance is from Stanford University in 2013. A Chinese travel agency called C-Trip did a work-from-home experiment for its call center workers while closely monitoring productivity. The study ran for a 9-month period and showed a 13% overall performance increase. People took fewer sick leaves and breaks. They actually responded to more calls per minute. Best Buy did a similar experiment and found a 35%.
Cam, there's a lot of traffic noise over there. Can you close the window? I said, there's a lot of traffic noise over there. Can you close?
Try again. What did you say?
There's a lot of traffic noise. Can you close the window?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. There's a lot of traffic noise over here. Just a second, I can close the window.
Never mind. Just keep going.
Now, what were you saying?
I said, never mind. Just keep going.
Right. So that Stanford University study, it also found great results for employee retention. Turnover rates among remote workers were 50% lower than their through a variety of did the stranger zoo animals.
Cam?
I didn't know she played the violin.
Cam, you're breaking up.
So the biggest savings, of course, is in real estate and facilities management. Obviously, more remote workers means less office space. Not to mention, remote workers can still do their jobs in inclement weather. I'm coming! In the U.S., the U.S. government had 4 snow days in 2014. It's estimated that they saved... I'm coming! Look, Adam, I'm sorry. I've really got to go. Hang on just a second.
No. We're almost out of time. You know what? Do talk normal. So, I actually think it's much better this way. Oh, we have to skip that. So in 2014, the U.S. federal government saved an estimated $32 million on those snow days, and did we skip something?
I don't think we skipped something. Look.
No, we definitely didn't skip. So, all right.
There we go.
So there we go. So, Jam, what's the point here? Drupal has contributors from more than 200 countries and countless cultures around the world. We just heard from 5 of them. Count me. And they're incredibly different. From what I saw today, there's no way for an Indian to work with a Londoner or Dutch person has nothing in common with an Italian. Everyone's different. So should we just give up and go home? What's the point here?
Do you really think they're all that different? Because what I heard is that we're all the same. Everyone has different cultures, even multiple cultures within one person. But every one of them, we can recognize our differences, we can laugh about it, and we can work together anyways. Rocky, how do you work with British people? Does that work out?
Same way as you work.
Even though your time estimates are totally different?
I told you we consider everything.
And Chris, can you work with the Italians? Even though everything about them is probably niet normal?
Obviously. I mean, we're all adults here. We can be flexible with each other after all.
All right, and Paolo?
Shan?
You could have lunch in the Netherlands, right?
Oh, Sure, as long as we go to an Italian restaurant.
Great idea. I love Italian.
All right, okay, I get it, fine. You can work together, but why would you?
Well, we all care about Drupal. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
You know, no,
Wow,
it's not like any of us can build this amazing Drupal thing all on our own.
Yeah, he's right. Drupal only works because of everyone. For every culture works together.
Drupal's built across national borders, across cultures, races, and job titles too. Drupal's built because we care about this community, we care about open source, we care about this project more than we care about our differences. I know it's hard sometimes. We've all experienced that in the last couple of years pretty strongly. Sometimes other people seem so different, so foreign, but there's one place where we all understand her, here in Drupal and here in open source.
No, again?
Is that right? Are we
That's
there?
right.
Okay. So,
Sing along, people.
are you ready?
Imagine all of Drupal.
Everyone now.
It's easy if you try. A neighborhood of people, together unified. Imagine all of Drupal.
Yes.
Working for the web. Imagine all our cultures. It isn't hard to do. Even though we're different, we're all the same too. Imagine all of Drupal as one community. You may say I'm a femur, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. This Drupalverse has just begun. Imagine no divisions. It takes a lot of trust. Let's get past our differences. A neighborhood of us. Imagine we're the people, Drupal all the world. You may say I'm a femur, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. This Drupalverse has just begun.
Hey! Thank you so much for getting up, everyone. Thank you to everyone involved in this Prenote. Thank you for getting up this morning. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for being open source. Please, one more round of applause for these brave souls who have joined us on stage.
And Bob.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your event. Thank you. Thank you.
Microphones on the table.